and Lukuli, and we are also in the process of finalizing with the rest. For Tanzania, plans are still underway to register our properties. We have 9 in number, and once we're able to do that, we shall update you on the same, but we trust we should be able to register the Presbyterian Foundation Limited also in Tanzania. In Kenya, we are pleased to report that in our portfolio, currently we have 3,070 title deeds. We have 381 motor vehicles. This year under review, we have managed to acquire 93 title deeds. Those are properties. We have also acquired 25 motor vehicles and managed to dispose of 8. We have also managed to acquire a property management system, which would really come in handy to automate our land records and also transactions. We shall soon be launching the same system to the presbyteries, where we'll have the processes being initiated from there, and it will make our land transactions more easier and efficient. And we really request your support as we start this, as we're also trying to follow the footsteps of the Kenyan government, who have now rolled out the Ardhi Sasa and digitized their systems. Moderator, sir, there are also statutory obligations in respect of property that would like to bring to the attention of our members. One is things like the land rates, which are payable on or before 31st of March every year. Land rent to the Ministry of Lands, which is supposed to be paid every 31st of January every year. And you'll note, failure to pay these payments, they accrue very punitive interest rates of up to 3% per month on compounded interest. We also have an issue with electricity bills because we have one PIN as a church, since legally we are recognized as one entity, and you'd find that some presbyteries have been inconvenienced from time to time when some don't pay their bills on time. We are trying to regularize the same. Perhaps these are some of the issues we shall raise with the government to see how they can identify our bills using the land registration numbers. But in the meantime, we really request the presbyteries to ensure that electricity bills are paid on time. We also have an issue with borehole permits, where most of us have not yet updated their permits, and currently as a church, we are not in a position to obtain any license to drill a borehole due to these arrears. So we really request the presbyteries to ensure that these borehole payments are made on time. We are also pleased to report that in our properties we have managed to acquired, we have income generating projects. One, we have educational institutions, the numerous Presbyterian schools. Those are the Alliances, the Poya, the Rubate, among other institutions that are sponsored or managed by the PCEA. We have also invested in the hospitality industry. We have the Milele hotels, the Wargates, the Tumaini Hotel in Nakuru, among many others within our presbyteries. We also have invested in hospitals. We have the 3 main hospitals, that's the Kikuyu Hospital, Chogoria, and Tumutumu Hospital, among other clinics and dispensaries. We also have commercial malls, rental properties, and office spaces like the Milele Ngong Mall, Ruiru Quickmart, among many others that we have. One of the key mandates of the Presbyterian Foundation is ensuring that the church does maximize on getting returns, because our main objective is to ensure that from the returns we make or revenues we generate, we are able to support the mission work for that church, for the church. That's the objective of why our forefathers incorporated this entity. We had taken time to analyze last financial statements for the 3 hospitals, and you will realize with the 3 hospitals, they generate a combined gross revenue of 1.945 billion. Yet, in that last financial year, they made a deficit of about 9.6 million. This is an indicator that there is need for the church to monitor its investments. We urge that, as envisioned in our constitution, through its secretary of the health board, that the hospitals do submit quarterly revenue reports through the DSG to the Presbyterian Foundation Board to ensure that we have checks and balances and for monitoring purposes. We have also guaranteed several facilities, that is loan facilities, that presbyteries, institutions have acquired in that last financial year. You'll note that the Presbyterian Foundation has now guaranteed in just that last year a sum of 288,261,917. It is also worth to note that the board has really called upon you to exercise caution in taking up additional loans, as lending rates have increased, now ranging between 17% to 19%. We also request the presbyteries to monitor the loan facilities within their jurisdiction and request for quarterly reports to ensure that we have no loans that are going on default. Currently, as the Presbyterian Foundation, we have 3 major loans. Those are loans that we've borrowed and guaranteed, all amounting to 1.658 billion. One, we have the loan for the development of the Milele luxury apartments with NBK, which currently stands at 754 million. We also have a loan of 574 million for the development of the Milele Ngong Mall. This is a loan that was borrowed by the foundation from KCB. We also have a loan facility that we've guaranteed for the Poya University at 330 million from Cooperative Bank. I would like to highlight as a point of concern from the foundation, the loan facility for the development of the Milele Ngong Mall. This is a loan facility that was taken sometime in 2012 for the construction of a mall that was being done by the Ngong parish. This particular loan initially was 402 million. The Presbyterian Foundation is the borrower of this loan, so as a church we are the ones who have borrowed this particular facility. Currently, the loan balance, it has grown to 574 million. We make monthly repayments of 6.4 million, which payment, when you do the calculation, only goes towards servicing the interest, which means after 15 years, we'll not have touched anything on the principal sum. Currently, the loan is in arrears.
Start exercising and quit after 3 days?
So, then try this app.
In this app, a personalized plan of short chair workouts is tailored for me, which I do at the beginning of the day. Just 10 minutes a day. It's simple and safe, without sweating and without equipment. All I need to do is open the app every day and follow along. Consistency is the key.
That we can use to utilize the proceeds generated to reduce the loan to a manageable level. So we went the extent of identifying a property that is just quite adjacent, belonging to Hadassah Trinity Center, which we are yet to do the valuations, but the valuation would bring more than 200 million. So if we're able to generate about that 200 million to reduce this loan, with an outstanding balance of 374 million, the loan would now be serviceable from the revenues generated from the mall. So I just thought it is good to highlight that because there is a resolutions we've brought to that effect. The other bit is registration of PCA-owned entities. During the year under review, we have managed to register various business names under the Presbyterian Foundation to either operate as schools or dispensaries. We wish to advise our presbyteries and parishes to ensure that all business entities or institutions are registered under the Presbyterian Foundation. We've had challenges whereby schools that are trading in the name of PCA, but the business name is registered under the name of elders, perhaps for lack of knowledge, but it is good that we have those business names registered under the Presbyterian Foundation. We've also had challenges of schools operating with no registration. If you've not registered that business name, it does not belong to you. So when you come after to register and that name is not available, it's unfortunate that any other person can come and register and start trading with it, or you'll not be able to register it after. So we really request that you check on how your schools have been registered so that we ensure that we have complied with the same. As I'd mentioned earlier, the foundation has also invested in the hospitality industry, and notably we have the 2 hotels. That's the Milele Nairobi Hotel. Maybe you can go to the next slide. Yes, thank you. For the Milele Nairobi Hotel, we are pleased to report that the revenues have really significantly improved. We had a surplus of 2.8 million during the last year, and this year under review, we have a surplus of 14.6. So there's an upward trajectory in terms of the revenues. For the Milele Beach Hotel, we also pleased to report that there's a significant improvement, where initially in the year 2022, we had realized a surplus of 13.3 million, and currently we have realized a surplus of 22.2 million. We have also can see from the hotels, there has been an upward trajectory when it comes to the revenues they have generated. And we thank God for the support He has given us, and also the support we have received from the presbyteries, parishes, because like in Mombasa, your 60 or 80% of our business actually comes from you, and we really thank you for that. We've managed to obtain the building approvals required to start the project from the county government of Mombasa, the NEMA licenses, and we are now embarking on the construction of the project to be able now to resolve this long outstanding issue. For the rental properties, during the last second general GAC of the 23rd General Assembly, we were delighted by the decision that was made to hand over the rental properties to the Presbyterian Foundation. We confirm that the said properties were now handed over with effect from October 2023, and we shall be reporting on the same in the next GAC, together with the loan obligations attached to the rental income that the Presbyterian Foundation is servicing on behalf of the head office. For Kairete Limited, we are pleased to report that we have now onboarded the new directors of the company, and we have also managed to have the company a subsidiary of the Presbyterian Foundation. The transition did happen, and we'll also now be reporting on the same from the next JC. I believe the financials of Kairete were presented by the Finance Committee, who have been running the same. For Church Property and Development Committee, we did manage to hold the inaugural Church Property and Development Committee at the national level. This is a committee that had not managed to sit for very many years, and we intend to make it quite active so that we are able to really come up with very good structures when it comes to our properties and the developments we undertake as envisioned in our constitution. Would also like to report on the legal matters against the church. Moderator, sir, we have a very big concern here, because as the church is growing, you'd realize we attract a lot of interest from other parties. We are sued. At times there are cases that are beyond our control. At times it is us who have to take people to court, maybe for encroachment in land matters. And currently, we have a lot of cases that are still active, actually about over 200 cases. And if today those cases are settled against us, because when you have a court matter, it's not guaranteed you will win. We face a possible settlement of 454 million, and have not factored in the acreage in terms of the properties would lose, especially on cases that touch on property. Currently, we have an exposure of legal fees because we've had to instruct various firms to represent us, and for this last year under review, we have legal fees outstanding of about 19,748,151. During the last AGM and also at the GAC, we had resolved to have each parish, we had brought a resolution for each parish to contribute about 50,000 per year to supplement the Presbyterian Foundation budget and to enable the foundation handle the legal matters by establishing a legal department. Unfortunately, the said resolution was not passed at the GSC, and this issue remains a challenge. As you'll note, even in our audited accounts, our auditors are concerned that the foundation has many liabilities more than the expected revenue. It is therefore prudent that we revisit this issue. It might have a cost, but in one way or another, we are all affected by this. Many of you have come to the offices asking how do we attend to this matter, a legal challenge, and unfortunately, you'd find even when a case touches on a particular parish or congregation, the auctioneers come to execute at the head office because legally we are one entity, our officials sit at the head office. So at times we have had inconveniences happen because of probably the case has not been managed well. And it is also good as a church, we have a contingency plan to avoid being surprised by auctioneers. Yet this case was in court for 3-5 years, yet we had not planned on a negative outcome. As a secretariat, we are working on expansion of the secretariat with the aim of ensuring that all presbyteries are well supported and issues raised from time to time are handled within the shortest time possible. As currently we have a lean team, but we have gone as we try and increase the same. I'll now request the chair of the board to come and conclude and also second the report. Thank you.
Moderator, sir, thank you very much, our fellow commissioners of the 24th General Assembly. Please allow me to make a couple of comments before I second the report. Can go? Thank you very much, moderator. I will start where? Let us serve. Let us serve with integrity. This is captured in Proverbs 11:13, and I read it in two versions. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Honesty guides good people. Dishonesty destroys treacherous people. One of the rewards of integrity is pleasing the heart of God. We show our love to God through obedience. Let us serve in stewardship. Christian stewardship is the practice of selfless managing everything we have. Let us serve with honesty. Honesty is a character quality, is a sign of the Spirit's work in our soul. Fellow commissioners, I will just highlight, I'll run a little across all institutions just to give a glimpse of what
much as I had been magnanimous to allow that you make some comments because of time, would you just, restrict yourself to the report?
Okay, thank you very much. We'll skip over just very quickly in terms of the institutions we have, because these institutions we have invested well. As a church, we have invested very well. However, the challenge that we are facing is the generation of incomes out of this institution. And just take a look at one instant. The 3 hospitals we have, they run a turnover of 2.2 billion shillings in the current, I think what the secretary has read is in terms of the 2021-2022, but 2022-2023 they have run, and that's in your current docket, they have run a turnover of 22,200,000,000, giving us a profit of 78 billion for the 3 of them. That's 3.5%. Look at the two institutions, look at the two hotels. With a turnover of 153 million, it gives you 36 million as profit. That's 23%. Fellow commissioners, this assembly, I think there are serious questions we need to ask ourselves so as to ensure that we deal with the issues that we have ahead of us. It is not poverty, it is not lack of money. Because if they are run properly and there is good accountability, I know we will be able to manage those numbers. So there is need to look at issues from a change strategy point of view and ensure that these institutions are contributing enormously to the foundation or for the church work, because whatever comes to the foundation really goes at the end of the day to the church. More important, let us gear ourselves towards what we all have ahead of us and do what is right, because when we do what is right, we shall achieve what our desired objective is. In conclusion, the Presbyterian Foundation policies that start of the process, during the process to the logical conclusion, to ensure achievement of the set goals by all stakeholders. Moderator, sir, with these few remarks, I beg to second. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Give them a clap. Well, questions now are allowed, starting on the left. There is a hand here of our sister here.
Thank you, moderator and the assembly. From their report, they have talked about we are not able to proceed on the drilling of the borehole because there are some outstanding areas on the permits. I would like to ask, what measures are you taking to ensure this is overcome? And do you have a system, a centralized system that is to help to curb this in future, that you help to track on such issues when it comes to the permits? Thank you.
I see a number of hands. Can I see on this side? You can see how many there are. And it gets to a point where I decide to overlook because of time. So please, if you get the opportunity, utilize it, realizing there are others who would also want to speak. Reverend Munyambo.
Thank you, moderator and the court. My question is, wouldn't you, rather than having the pool that you are recommending of the 50,000 from every parish, that you move the foundation just from being a board to a service center whereby the parishes and the other businesses have to register with you and get probably a certificate, even if it's not physical, so that you can be able to also to generate your own income rather than depending on the various businesses that we have.
Reverend Kanga.
Thank you, moderator. In the docket of the foundation, they have stated that they are in advanced stage of starting a bank. And yet, the figures that has been presented, it shows that they are negative 2 billion. Can they think of starting a bank at negative 2 billion? That question number one. Question number two, moderator, sir, is that line 6.2, that was not projected by the secretary, states that the said project, this is now Milele apartment, is being financed by the National Bank. This is document of 6.2. Is it true that the National Bank is financing the project as the document contains. Moderator, sir, the other question.
Oh, you had so many, and yet, let's be mindful of others.
Yes.
Masha's.
The other question I'm asking, the intention of selling a property that will fetch 200 million so that they can reduce the liability of Milele Gong to 3. They started by saying that the debt was 450. It has grown to 5. So is there any possibility that once they sell the project, they eject to the debt from 370 million? Will it grow again and then we lose the property that we sold? The last question, Moderator, is that
no,
the figures
please.
that...
Give out the mic, give out the mic, please. Give out the mic. Evan Buchemi, you can light that question and pass it to somebody on the other side.
Thank you, Moderator. I want to ask Foundation. Yesterday, Late Training asked for their track, and because Foundation are the owner of all what we own, my question is, with the theme of serving the Lord, when will the Late Training get their track so that they can use it to serve the Lord? When will they get their track so that they can use it to serve the Lord or the money?
Thank you, Moderator. When we listen to the chairman of Foundation, he's insinuating that there is a possibility, if that kind of billions is what we are getting and the profit is that, then money is getting some loopholes. Is it that the boards that we have entrusted then have been compromised?
Woody.
Thank you, Moderator, and the Assembly. Twice I have heard the issue of the Milele apartments being connected with the Nairobi Legion. Is it good that we know what is exactly happening between the Legion and the apartments? Because we are not aware.
Dr. Moboi.
Thank you, Moderator. Mine has been a concern, and I want the Foundation to respond. If you go to some of the parishes, they have magnificent parish offices. Ironically, if you go to the head office, some of the officials of the GA are sitting in squeezed offices, and especially the DSG and the finance officer. The Moderator and the SG, top officials of the General Assembly, the offices do not have washrooms. They have to go out and mix with other people. Can the Foundation consider refurbishing those offices so that there can be privacy in those top offices?
Thank you, Moderator. Mine is a concern. Many parishes, presbyteries have rental buildings that are registered under the Foundation. And the Kenya Revenue Authority is very robust right now in collecting access. So we are in danger of our properties being taken, or the KRA coming here because of those properties. Are we paying monthly rental tax? What is the Foundation doing to ensure that all our properties are paying the monthly rental taxes? Because it is an exposure.
Okay. Elder Juru, in that order.
Again, I asked because of school being registered under Presbyterian Foundation. How safe our school registered as business under Presbyterian Foundation, putting our eggs, all of them in one basket, rather than registering them under NGO or Uzima Tele as mission? What is the possibility? Will rather be on mission? You'll answer that one, please.
Pass the mic before you. No. I had given the order. Is it Elder Juru now? You are not Elder Juru.
Thank you, Moderator, and the members of the General Assembly. Mine is two questions. One is a question on the on the issue of reporting. Why are these investment institutions reporting directly to the GA instead of reporting to foundation, which is the investment arm of the Presbyterian Church? The other one is why are we having this issue of
what is the body doing to enforce and discourage the encroachment of our PCA land for those who want to grab?
Okay.
Mr. Moderator, I want to be advised. To the best of my knowledge, the above flats were put up with through shareholding from presbyteries, from church groups, and so on. Do we have meetings for the shareholders? Do they get dividends? The above flats.
Doria.
Thank you, Moderator and the Assembly. Considering that the PCEA previously sold its properties to try and recover other properties, we sold the SG's residence, we sold the Lavanrad, and we even seeded Mission Lad to try and offset loans. Why are we trying to take the same route to try and save Mirere Gong, and what guarantees are fair? And then CAC TV has not reported anywhere. I had hoped that they would be under this report, and it cannot be seen in your report. And you have told us about Kairete Limited, and yet there is no anything else apart from that the board of directors was changed. What did you do with our Kairete money? Thank you.
Elder Karanja, there is another hand there.
Thank you, Moderator. The Assembly, having been in hotel industry, how comes you are not considered to offer catering during this GA? Is it that you don't have the capacity?
Dr. Wainaina.
Thank you, Moderator and the Assembly. We really appreciate what Presbyterian Foundation is doing. And my humble question is whether there is any relationship between the lots of monies and the work they are doing and the reaching out of the gospel.
I still see an above hearts. I choose to be blind because of the constraint of time. So let's first hear the answers, because I see there are quite a number of hands. I know this is an area that will require a little more time, but again we have to agree that the day is learning, yet it is the final day. But you didn't bring a resolution of extending to tomorrow. Go ahead.
Thank you, Moderator, sir. I hope I have captured all the questions so that I can be able to answer them comprehensively. I'll start with the first question on the issue of the borehole, the arrears that we have accumulated. What measures are we taking, and do we have a centralized system to track on the permits? Currently, yes, we don't have a centralized system, and that is one of the things we are hoping that the property management system will help us to track such payments and those obligations that are there. There is a letter that was done by the Office of the Secretary General on the 6th of March 2024 to request for those payments to be updated. We also send out letters and forms called statutory forms, whereby every presbytery should ensure that every year they give us returns in terms of the status of the property, in terms of disputes, in terms of whether they have done things like the borehole, so that we can be able to track. So the property management system will be able to track those obligations. On the issue of the pool, the 50,000 we have requested, whether we can move to foundation, to be a service center whereby we would have people contribute and generate income. You will note that the foundation, all the presbyteries are members. So when we have financial challenges, like any other company limited by guarantee, you go back to your members to see how that can be bridged out. And we are trusting that if you're able to pull these resources together, it will help us, one, clear the big debt that we have, and also create a legal department to manage the cases that we have. On the issue of starting a bank of the assets that we have and the revenues we are generating as a church, it is high time we have also put in our application to see whether we can secure funds for the project, the other phase B in terms of finishing of the project. So yes, the National Bank of Kenya is still our financier in this particular project. The intention to sell the property of 200 million to reduce the loan, whether there is a possibility that the 374 million will remain, would still grow. Yes, I would be very honest, it's an issue we need to really dissect and look at, one, what mistakes did we, or where did we go wrong for this loan to grow from 402 million to 574. And certainly if we have to dispose that property, it will not be business as usual, starting from restructuring the management of this particular project, that's the mall, so that we ensure that we maximize on terms of the revenues generated, and they all go towards reduction of the loan. So yes, if not managed well, it can grow. So it is upon us to ensure that we have managed this loan very well so that we don't go back to the same place we have. Yesterday, there's somebody who asked about the late training track. When will the late training get their track? This has been a contentious issue because, one, we purchased a track. It was fully paid for and the track was not delivered. The particular issue was also taken to the business committee, who authorized the audit committee to report on the same. It is now a legal issue whereby we have to now take legal action because the supplier was paid and did not deliver, and that's an issue now we have to make a claim from that particular supplier. There was a question from what the chair has said about our institutions. One, it seems like our money are getting loopholes or our boards are being compromised. In any business, monitoring a business yourself, because we are the owners, is very important. When we don't have targets, when we have expectations from our boards, we'll get the bare minimum. So I will not say our boards are compromised. I will not want to say that, but it is important as the owners of these investments, let us employ very good monitoring tools so that we are able to maximize in terms of the revenues we can generate from these institutions. For the Milele apartments, what is happening between the foundation and Nairobi region? Yes, there are very good positive discussions. The business committee did hold a meeting sometime back last year, and one of the things they resolved is that we need to get a strategic partner to finish this or implement this project. And Nairobi region expressed interest in being a strategic partner. They have expressed willingness to purchase a block of apartment as we partner in terms of the implementation of this project. There are discussions and agreements being discussed. They are still on the discussion stage, but we affirm that we have a good relationship and we have been able to affirm that strategic partnership. There are concerns about parishes have magnificent projects, yet our General Assembly offices are not in good state. Yes, we agree. There is need for refurbishment. Plans are underway. Initially, the foundation was quite disadvantaged in terms of the resources. Right now, at least with the rental income, we have already initiated the plans to refurbish the offices so that at least we can make them up to date. We can have our General Assembly officials staying. They should use good offices. That we agree, and we trust probably before the end of this year, we should be able to actualize that. On the issue of the rental income, yes, this is an obligation that we all need to meet. There are several obligations. In fact, we've had instances whereby people use the VAT or the PIN for the foundation. They file returns, they don't pay. We are trying to come up with mechanism. Even right now, we are trying to sort out a dispute with KRA. It is important when you have the rental incomes generating from the rental buildings you have, that you pay the taxes of the same. So currently the foundation doesn't have an exemption. The head office is working on its exemption, but the exemption comes on the income tax. So it is prudent that you ensure that you pay your monthly taxes. There was an issue about we are putting our eggs on one basket by registering our properties, or rather our entities, in the Presbyterian Foundation. Currently, that is what is provided for in our constitution. The reason why we register in the Presbyterian Foundation is for succession, because when you have an individual, that means it's like their own property. Currently, the Presbyterian Foundation is a limited company by guarantee. And even if you have other entities, we still have to agree, because that is now in our constitution, that all properties, entities should be registered at the Presbyterian Foundation. There was a question on why institutions are reporting to the GA directly instead of through the Presbyterian Foundation. I believe this is a question this General Assembly could resolve, so that we can agree, do we want institutions to present directly, or, but I understand, like for the health board, our constitution provides that they present their reports to the health board. There was a question on encroachment of land. What are we doing about it? Yes, we have had different parishes, congregations suffer from this. It is good that we be vigilant. One, ensure that you acquire title deeds for the properties that you have. There are some of us who are sitting on our properties with a letter of allotment that is not a title deed. There are some of us who sit on a property and you know very well you don't have even a letter of allotment or no documentations. It is important that when we acquire a piece of land, we always ensure that it has the proper documentations. On the issue of encroachment, let us ensure that we have identified our boundaries very well, so that we don't have any sort of issue coming through encroachment. And if that arises, unfortunately, we would have to go to court to defend our properties. On the issue of Jabavu, yes, this property was bought through shareholding from our members. I understand there are no meetings or dividends that have been given since around 2010. The properties have now been handed over to the foundation. The board is working on how we could reinstate the same, so that we can see how to involve the shareholders like that was done in the past. There was a question of, yes, in the past we have sold property to pay off the loan, but unfortunately those loans are not fully